Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Super Live F1 podcast. My name's Rodney, flying solo tonight. No Zach. Hopefully next time we get a bit of a Zach action, but we're trying something a bit different. I'm going to try and do a live stream. How cool is that? I'm sure there'll be technical difficulties. You've got that to look forward to, but I guess what I'm going to try and do is when there's a race weekend and there's a race on, I'm like, well, let's just do a little live stream beforehand. Let's get in the mood. Let's get ourselves ready for the F1 event. Obviously, we're in Monaco this week, which is the big F1 race. This is the glitz and glamour, the cars, the atmosphere, the water, I guess. I don't know what people like about Monaco racing wise, but they definitely like the atmosphere, and the world's attention turns on the F1 scene. So I figured like no better race to kick off a live stream action here. If you're watching, please feel free to jump in with a comment or a question. I'll try and get to those in a minute, but I thought just to get ourselves in the mood for Monaco, we've made a lot of content over the years, and what I thought we might try and do is revisit some old content because, sometimes it's just fun to recycle your old content because it's less work. So what I'm going to do, we're going to revisit something that I made a little while ago, which is actually something that I whipped up, which I was pretty happy with. And the internet seemed to have a kind of so-so response to. But essentially what I thought was Red Bull puts out this content that's like, the F1 drivers driving around the simulator, like run you through the track. It's like learn the track, watch it with the drivers, and you get to see the sim moving and everything. It's kind of cool. But I was like, it's a bit too good. When people drive these games in their consoles, it's not that good. So I thought I would have a go at trying to, see if I could have a go at making it a bit more realistic. So this is basically what I came up with. And we're going to watch this together if I can get anything to work. I'll shut up so we can watch this. Here we go. Of course. You could probably tell, that looks a lot like my driving, essentially. That was someone else driving, and I had to just match up all the corners. But, look, I feel like that tells you everything you need to know about Monaco, especially if you speak German, I suppose. I forgot that Seb speaks German in that video, but I think it adds something. I feel like it adds something to the experience. Well, look, like I say, I'm flying solo today, which is something I don't usually do. Usually I have Zach here to bounce off. And we have that sparkling chemistry that we're famous for. But what I'm going to do, I've got some content that I'm going to read through. So I'm going to actually try and bring up some stories. We're going to have a bit of a look-see about what's going on in the old F1 world. Let's see if I can pull this story up for you. So the big story, I think, going into this weekend really has been the Lewis Hamilton contract controversy story. I don't know what you would call it, but essentially, I'll read through the story as seen by the Evening Standard, as reported by the great people at the Evening Standard. Lewis Hamilton set to snub Ferrari and sign imminent new deal with Mercedes. Rumors had been circulating that Ferrari was set to table a £40 million a year deal to lure Hamilton across the grid. Hamilton said he had a team in place carrying out negotiations with team principal Toto Wolff. That's really interesting, and I'll tell you why. Because most of the time, Lewis has done his own negotiations, and you sort of hear stories about him and Toto locking themselves away in who knows where, probably Toto's little lair in Monaco, and just nutting it out. But I think it's really interesting. It's an interesting reveal here that this time he said, it wasn't me, it was my team. My team are helping me get this across the line. Just highlighted all the top line bits here. He said, naturally, when you're in contract negotiations, there is always going to be speculation. And unless you hear it from me, that is what it is. Those two pieces of information, I think, are really interesting and important to remember. Number one, Lewis Hamilton has a team working on this behind the scenes. And he says there's a lot of speculation out there. If you don't hear it from me, you should treat that as speculation. Just saying, that's an interesting development. Let's see what's next. Because I've got a series of stories here, and together you get the whole picture. That's what you come to Super License for. This was a hot take that I saw. This was from the people at crash.net. Ferrari's lowball £40 million offer undervalues Lewis Hamilton, says Sky Sports F1 Ted Kravitz. This is a hot take straight from Kravitz. It's Kravitz certified. Here's what he says. He says the offer is too low for Hamilton to consider jumping ship, according to Sky's pit lane reporter, Ted Kravitz. Firstly, I think £40 million as an offer is a bit of a lowball offer for Lewis Hamilton. He said that on a podcast. And you know what? When you hear something on a podcast, you just got to take it with a grain of sand, don't you? It's probably £5 million less than what he is on at the moment, he said. And is something Mercedes are going to offer as part of not only the remainder of his driving career, but also the longer-term association with the Mercedes brand, which is valuable to Lewis, he says. Number two, I think Ferrari are offering everybody a job for anything at the moment. Everyone is on Ferrari's shopping list because Fred Vasseur says he is going to put together a crack team of amazing people around Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc to make them realize this is incredible. So this offer, £40 million, according to Sky's pit lane reporter, Ted Kravitz, he thinks that $40 million is a bit of a lowball. He thinks Lewis Hamilton's worth way, way more than that. And if Ferrari want him, they should be paying a lot more than that. And you can argue that. I mean, I would love for someone to say I'm worth more than £40 million. And if you read other stories, you'll actually notice too that like some stories are like $50 million, $75 million. You got to remember, oh wait, that's US dollars or Australian dollars or whatever. But here's the next story because the plot thickens. This is from the good people at ESPN. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur quashes rumors of contract offer to Lewis Hamilton. So again, we go to the highlighted bits. Asked if Ferrari had held discussions with Hamilton about a deal, Vasseur, who worked with a Mercedes driver in his junior career, said he often talked with Hamilton, but not about a contract. We didn't have discussions, he said. I think every single team on the grid would like to have Hamilton at one stage. It would be bullshit to say something like this. If I have discussions with Hamilton, it's because I have had discussions with him for the last 20 years. I've discussed things almost every single weekend with Hamilton. I don't want to stop having discussions with him just because you're chasing me about a contract offer. So basically, this is the Ferrari chief saying, there's no deal. We've never even talked about a deal. So first the deal, you might remember that first story that I read. First of all, Hamilton was ready to snub Ferrari's deal. Then we hear from Ted Kravitz. Then we hear the deal's a lowball offer. Now we hear from Ferrari, the deal's not even a deal. It's not a deal. It's a fake deal. This is fake news, quite literally. This is also, the reason I wanted to go through all this is because this is why on the podcast, and I guess now on the live streams, we don't really cover rumors because they're just almost always just full of nothing. It's like, we could waste so much time talking about this stuff, but this is where it goes, right? Toto Wolff suggests Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari story was placed to try and impact Mercedes contract negotiations. Now, Ferrari weren't involved in this. Who was it that Lewis said was involved in these negotiations again? Toto Wolff has suggested reports linking Lewis Hamilton with a big money offer from Ferrari were placed to try and impact Mercedes contract negotiations. Well, by who, Toto? Not by you. Not by Fred Vasseur, apparently. The Mercedes team boss said he and Hamilton have a pact. So he was sure there had never been discussions between the 7-time world champion and the Italian team. Well, it would have been good to know that before we read all the other headlines about how it was a snub and so on. I haven't highlighted anything else. I think that's the end of the story. I think you get the idea, though, right? What is this story all about? This is the biggest story going into this weekend. The biggest story. And is it even a story? Is it even a thing? Is there even a kernel of truth to it? How could we possibly believe what we're being told? And, when people are in negotiations, the people you don't believe or you don't listen to are exactly the ones who are involved in the negotiations. But what are you to do? Big shout out to the main man Flores on the Discord who shared this amazing take. And, look, you can say whatever you want about Fernando Alonso. You can like him, you can not like him, but he will go down as one of the all-time F1 trolls. Like I don't know that he'll be bested because I feel like F1 drivers this day and age just they either don't care or they're too perfect in what they do. But we are living in an era of peak F1 trolling from Fernando Alonso, and it may never be bested, is what I'm saying. Fernando Alonso is asked if Lewis should stay or go. I have no idea, he says, but he says he wins and loses together with his team. So if he's not winning, he should probably stay. Wow. Look what a take. And there's... there we are. He probably told him right there. He's probably like saying, congrats on winning, and you should probably stay with your losing team because you say that so much. Poor old Lewis Hamilton. What's a guy to do? What is a guy to do? Well, look, I've got a bit more stuff I want to cover in the old Streamerino. So wonder what we might do next. What we might actually do. This has been one of the stories of the weekend once the racing happened, once the racing actually got started, once we were really cooking. I'll bring this one up as well. You can see I've been busy with the old highlighter this week, as well as working out how streams work. Okay. Again, from crash.net. Mercedes ruse suboptimal F1 floor reveal after Cirque du Soleil crane lift. What does that even mean? If you ever wondered what the bottom of the Mercedes looks like, it looks like this. Looks like a floor. After 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton crashed at Mirabeau in the closing stages of final practice, his car was seen dramatically dangling high in the air as it was craned away from the circuit. Hate that when that happens. With the upgraded W14 suspended midair, the floor design was completely exposed, enabling rival aerodynamicists to get a good look at the key area teams usually try to keep secret. Well, whoever performed the crane was probably working for Cirque du Soleil, Wolff said. Honestly, that I don't even comprehend. The car was on the road. You could have put it on a truck. We are showcasing our car for everyone in the world. I guess what makes this so costly for Mercedes is that this was meant to be the big upgrade. This is the one they were bringing this week, right? So after a poor start this year, and really after struggling last year, Lewis Hamilton was very public in saying, this car, man, this car's no good, bro. We got to do it again. You got to make a new car, man. So they've gone away. This is the car they've come up with, and they've brought it to Monaco. Hasn't been extra fast, I have to say. And then the worst possible outcome, you would argue, he puts it in the wall. So they stop practice and they crane in the way. They pull this Cirque du Soleil shit and they get it up in the air where everyone can see. You might notice, the keen amongst you might notice, let me pull it up again here. For the floor here, they've gone with flat and low. They've gone with the old flat and low, tried and true technique of an F1 car. But here's the thing. If you're thinking, oh no, Lewis Hamilton posting his L's online, the plot thickens because he's not the only one. For those of you who watched qualifying, you might have noticed there was another gentleman putting it in the wall. And to be honest, we should talk about this. I think he needs to be called out because it's kind of outrageous what's going on here. From this website I've never heard of, fansided.com. F1, Red Bull's biggest secret revealed after qualifying crash. Oh no, what could it be? Monaco is a street race and awfully cramped between buildings. Removing cars is a precarious activity. These were more minor repairs needed, so the floors were intact, yet they were on display for everyone to see and document. Take a look at the bottom of the Red Bull here. Another flaw exposed. Red Bull, says Tammy in all caps. Tammy, I hope Tammy's doing okay. She's getting very excited here. But now we've seen the bottom of the Mercedes, and we've seen the bottom of the Red Bull, and get a good look at this because I just want to be sure. Yep. They've gone for flat. They've gone for flat and low as well. They've gone Mercedes style flat and low with their floor, which is interesting on their move. No secrets here, they write. Thankfully for Red Bull, they have plenty of things teams can't replicate. So what have Red Bull got that other teams can't replicate, despite this huge reveal about what the bottom of the car looks like and that the fact that essentially it's flat and low? Well, they've got two of the best drivers on the grid. Do they remember why this car is in the air in the first place? Mr. Perez, Mr. Street Circuit, Mr. Street Circuit Specialist, Mr. Can only win at street circuits. Remember last year in Monaco how he crashed as well? And Verstappen was furious for like 10 months about it. Didn't even want to talk to him, even though it was purely an accident. And this one seems like an accident too, especially because now he's starting from the back of the grid. What a turnaround. Last year he starts on pole, this year last. Ouch. Not looking good for the king of the street circuits. 2 years in a row, crashes in qualifying. He might have some competition for king of the street circuits as far as that nom de plume goes. That's all I'm saying. But what else have Red Bull got going for them? They've got two of the best drivers on the grid. Debatable. An exclusive partnership with Honda and free access to caffeine. Poor F1 teams, the whole rest of the grid, the other 9 teams, no caffeine. I didn't even know that. But it's broken here, fansided.com. This is an exclusive. This is breaking news. There's no coffee, no chocolate. Monster Energy, never heard of it. Red Bull's the only team, exclusive access to caffeine and an exclusive partnership with Honda. Well, man, what a way to round out your piece about the qualifying action. This is why, the problem with the races being on the weekend is that they get the weekend people to write the stories. I'm sure of it. Red Bull have exclusive access to Honda. Let's just check the old Formula One website. What's this say here? Let me see. Honda to make full-scale F1 return in 2026 as they join forces with Red Bull. Oh no, Aston Martin. What the hell? Oh dear. So this is another story that's been breaking, which is that despite the fact that Honda, who you might remember, was sole supplier for Red Bull and AlphaTauri, and then you could argue that they came along during a period of Mercedes dominance. I would argue that. But they basically had a go. Look, they had a go. Old mate had a go. And then they didn't win. And everyone was angry. This is... We'll get to the further awkwardness of it later, but it was meant to be... The future was meant to be a Red Bull and Honda one. And this glowing Red Bull era that we're through now was meant to be like the first phase of a long and fruitful relationship for Red Bull Honda. But you might remember recently, Honda announced that they were going to leave Formula One. They were like, nah, it's not for us. We it's just not vibing, just not feeling it. Well, it's too bad. So they said they were leaving. Although now, change of heart apparently. Honda are back, baby. They're coming back in a deal with not Red Bull, with Aston Martin. Now we know that Christian Horner doesn't really cope super well when someone leaves him for someone else, even someone that he doesn't want. Remember when Daniel Ricciardo left Red Bull and he was furious? He was so dirty about it. And Cyril Abiteboul and him, it was like 2 episodes of Drive to Survive. That was how much tension there was from that. And they didn't even want to keep Daniel Ricciardo. They were like, Max Verstappen, he's our boy. We'll give him everything that he wants. But Honda are coming back with Lawrence Stroll-led Aston Martin. Now, who are their drivers? Obviously, Lance Stroll, Nepo baby, Lance Stroll. And who's that other guy again? Oh, yeah, that's right. Fernando Alonso. Whoops. Fernando Alonso of I won't play the clips. I'm nervous about playing audio or video of Fernando Alonso, in the old days, basically because this is a new era. On a podcast, I can play whatever I want, but on YouTube when I'm streaming, I just don't know. If I play something from Formula One, they might actually take me down. So I can't play exactly the thing, but you know the thing, right? Fernando Alonso, the old comments. So many comments along the engine, how many GPs it had, and so on. So that was a bit awkward when Honda said, we're returning to Formula One. We're partnering with Aston Martin and their great drivers, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. We forgot about him. We forgot about Fernando Alonso, the guy who bagged us out so bad when he was at McLaren and we were last on the grid every single week. And it was such a joke and he was so frustrated that memes abounded. But apparently all is forgiven. Honda, we have no objection to Alonso, despite past comments about our engine and said formula that they were suitable for. Honda is adamant it has no objections to potentially being reunited with Fernando Alonso following the announcement of a power unit partnership with Aston Martin. After 5 seasons with Ferrari, Alonso returned to McLaren in 2015 after the team ended its long-standing relationship with Mercedes to join forces with Honda on its return to F1. Blah, 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 blah. During the 2015 Japanese Grand Prix, Alonso famously described Honda's power unit as a GP2 engine after being easily overtaken by Toro Rosso. It was a comment he conceded 5 years later that he looks back on with regret. Wow. So, I mean, the thing is, it's 2023 and 2026 is still a long way away. In Formula One years, that's like a decade. But we are facing a potential situation where we have a reunion between Honda and Fernando Alonso. And I, for one, I'm here for it. I can't wait. I'm going to try and find a way to pull this up to, again, old mate Florge coming through on the Discord. I have to say, he's really coming up big time with all the good stuff. Let me find out how I can get this into the stream here. Obviously, the main man around the traps is Martin Whitmarsh. Remember him? Was he the guy that like disappeared and then everyone's like, where's Martin Whitmarsh? Or was it someone else? I can't even remember. But let me pull up this, like, there's that thing on Twitter or social media and stuff, and it's like the 10-year challenge. Post a photo of you from 10 years ago. Well, check this out. Have a look at this. This is Martin Whitmarsh at a McLaren Honda announcement, 2013. And here he is. Hello. Who's this guy? I'll have him kicking in 2023. Caught in 4K. Still around the Honda scene. You might notice some logos are the same. And here's his new best friend, his partner in crime, Lawrence Stroll. Just saying. Don't know what I was doing 10 years ago. Probably watching F1 and eating pods. Stuff like that. With Zach, who might be here next time. Did I mention that? Pretty sure I did. Another story that caught my eye that I want to go over for, I don't even know. This story, the problem with this story is that it's getting misrepresented everywhere, and I just want to set the story straight. So let me pull this up. This one, again, I've picked a very reputable source. This is talksport.com. They love to talk sport. You probably heard the joke version of this because the joke version of this is being reported on every website that there is. But essentially, there's more to it than people think. So I just want to set the record straight. Here's the headline. Martin Brundle leaves pundits in stitches after pulling 89-year-old photographer at Monaco Grand Prix. You can see here. Here he is pulling And this is stitches, apparently. An 89-year-old photographer left Sky F1's pundit in stitches when she asked for Martin Brundle's number. Look at this. This is an act in 3 plays. As the Sky team were in the midst of their rundown of third practice at the Monaco Grand Prix, Brundle interjected to say, "Have we got time to talk to that lady over there taking the photographs? I would love to know about her." "My name's Martin," he said. "What's your name?" She replied, "Claudia Albuquerque. I admire you and everything that you do, and you're fantastic." Brundle then said, "Well, we were thinking the same about you. How long have you been taking photos?" "Since I was 15 years old. I hate to tell you, I'm already 89, but I'm not giving up." It was then time for farewells, and Albuquerque said, "See you over the weekend and good luck to all of your teams." This is a woman who knows her way around Monaco and has been to a race or two, I can tell you. However, she then leaned into Brundle, perhaps not aware the microphone was picking her up, and said, "I need your card." Brundle instantly burst into laughter, and Jensen Button cracked up, thinking he was being asked on a date. As it turns out, Albuquerque is actually somewhat of a legend in Monaco and has her own art gallery where she edits shots of the Principality's royalty, as well as the celebrities that pass through. So here's the thing, right? That last line and the detail gets dropped from pretty much everybody who reports this story. So let's scroll back up again here. Here's the story as most people tell it. This old photographer, Martin Brundle, talks to her. She says, "Hey, let's stay in touch because we're both in this profession." And they're like, "Oh, look at this one, trying to get something over with old mate Brundle here." And this is apparently hilarious. I mean, the problem is she's 89 years old. Like, I need to get your card is exactly how professionals used to swap. I mean, I don't think she's on LinkedIn. Actually, let's look her up. What's her name? Claudia Albuquerque, right? Let's look her up on LinkedIn. Claudia Albuquerque. Because if she is, I might send her a cheeky little request or something. LinkedIn. Manager KPG Services. Dubai. No, that's not that one. 300 Claudia Albuquerque. I don't have time for that. I'm doing a live stream, mate. Anyway, the point is, the butt of the joke that everybody's making, which isn't even funny or a joke, is Martin Brundle, an 89-year-old, blah, 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 blah. The twist is, in a shocking twist of fate, this is like queen shit. She rules. She's the best. She's a professional photographer who's been working for 70 years. Takes photo. I mean, look at this. This is is Prince Albert, I'm pretty sure, of Monaco. This is like an official portraiture of them. This is the princess whose name I always forget, but she's always got one eye on the exit. You've got to she's always trying to get out of there. You got to watch her. But I mean, look, I think the reason I wanted to bring this up is because basically I feel like people will make a joke out of this, and they're like, how funny was it that thing when that old lady tried to pick up Martin Brundle live on TV? And the joke of it is she rules and she's great and she was doing nothing wrong. She's excellent. She made all the right moves. There's nothing to be ashamed of. She absolutely kicks ass. I'm on her side. Okay. So when you hear people telling this story and making a joke out of it and making her the butt of the joke, my point is just point out she's a career photographer in Monaco. What have you ever done? She rules. So go with that. Essentially, I mean, that's all the content. That's all the capital C content that I brought with me today that I wanted to go through. Mostly this was just a test. Let's check out how the tech works. Let's work out how the streaming works. Let's work out let's just get our shit together, right? That was the whole idea. And I'll be better at this. We'll do more of these. There'll be more stuff that we'll want to show. There'll be more things that we come up with. And let us know what you want to see. You can leave us a comment. You can send us a tweet. You can send us an email. You can send us a website. Visit the website. You can go to the website and type in what you want and send it off if you can't be bothered pulling up your email thing or whatever. Twitter, we're at superlicense.com. The website, superlicense.fm. Oh, Zach's not here to do the funny thing. The Discord, I think, is really kicking off. And I think that's probably my primary go-to right now for where I want to go and talk about F1. But while I wrap up, while we kick this baby home, because we're nearly done for the day, nearly time for us to clock off and watch an F1 race. Got to get out of here. We've got a race to do, right? Another thing I thought I would bring up is this old series that we made, Zach and I made, called Race Off, where basically we raced around the world's greatest circuits. So obviously we did Monaco for one. And I thought I might just have this playing because it's pretty funny watching us try to race. Well, watching me struggle to race around Monaco. And I know it's confusing to see me on the screen twice there and probably a bit unpleasant for some of you. But again, I just wanted to have this playing in the background so you can enjoy this while I outro the show. Thanks for watching. It's been fun, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these, especially with Zach. But we'll try and do these again every weekend where there's a race, especially the races in Europe where they start. I mean, in Melbourne time, it's like 11 p.m. So I can pretty much jump on at 10 p.m. That's great time to get on and do a live stream. If Zach's around, great. If Zach is free, that will be perfect. If I'm free but he's not free, I will show some dumb videos and read some stories. I don't know. I'll try and make it worth tuning in. But the goal is an hour before every race starts at this standard time. Let's call this F1 standard time, right? The time that this race is starting, that's F1 standard time. So come back 1 hour before F1 standard time to see if there's a live stream on. We'll put it on the Twitter. We'll put it on Discord so that you know what's going on. Here I am in the tunnel, about to absolutely kill the chicane here. Brake, Rod, brake. What are you doing? Oh, gosh, I can't even watch. I don't even remember who won this season. This is where it gets really good. Watch this. Oh. Superlicense.fm is the website. Superlicense podcast is the email address at gmail.com if you want to send us an email. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Superlicense. Or you can go to the website and send us a message. A huge thank you to everyone that supports us on Patreon. It's just a couple of dollars a month. You get early access to the podcast. You get bonus stuff sometimes. We've done special podcast episodes that were just for Patreon supporters. So thank you. Hopefully we can do some more stuff like that. Maybe we'll do some more live stream stuff just with them. Maybe we'll have someone call in one time and talk to them. Or we could do a quiz. We could do a live quiz where maybe Zach or someone else could face off. That would be pretty good. Face off, race off. But essentially, I'm going to call it there so that we can all go and watch this race. And if you're watching this back later, thank you so much. It's been really fun to do. It's been really fun to try all this out. And I think things worked. Find out later, I suppose. Someone will tell me. Everybody take it easy. I'm going to log off now. I'm going to leave you with these beautiful scenes of me racing around in Monaco. Enjoy. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.